Section 6, the sales comparison approach to value. Learning objectives. List the 5 basic steps for the sales comparison approach to value. Explain the fundamental premises underlying the sales comparison approach. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of the sales comparison approach. Explain how to analyze the subject property. Explain how to collect, analyze, and verify market data. List and explain the elements of comparison for analyzing comparable sales. List and explain how to use the 4 ways of adjusting comparable sales. Explain how to use the gross income and/or gross rent multiplier to estimate value. Explain the process of reconciling data to arrive at the final value estimate. Review the alternative market approach used to value land suitable for development. Anticipated use or development method. Review the alternative market approach used to value utility properties, stock and debt method. The sales comparison approach to value is one of 3 commonly recognized methods of estimating the value of real property. It is based upon the fundamental economic concept of substitution. This concept starts with the notion that a rational buyer will not pay more for a property than the cost to purchase a comparable property of similar utility. The approach is useful when sufficient market information, comparable sales, is available. The purpose of this section is to introduce the tools necessary to successfully use the sales comparison approach to estimate value. A. The 5 steps of the sales comparison approach. Number 1, define the appraisal problem. Collect and analyze the data. Select the appropriate units of comparison. Make reasonable adjustments based upon the market, and apply the data to the subject of the appraisal. B. Fundamental premises underlying the sales comparison approach. Number 1, an estimate of market value is developed by comparing the subject property to similar properties that have recently sold. In addition to recent sales, data may consist of options, asking prices, offering prices, leases, rentals, and properties under contract, for which purchase offers and a deposit have been made. Number 2, the underlying premise of the sales comparison approach is that the market value of a property is related to the prices of comparable competitive properties recently sold in the marketplace. Number 3, in estimating the market value of a property, the sales comparison approach uses actual sales price information as a direct indicator of value. C, the sales comparison approach is based primarily on appraisal principles. Number 1, supply and demand. The interaction of supply and demand forces determines property prices. One factor affecting demand is the cost of substitutes. Number 2, substitution states that a prudent buyer will pay no more for a property than for a comparable property with similar utility, assuming no undue delay in the consummating of the transaction. Hey, I was kind of ready for it now. Number 3, contribution. In the underlying principle in the adjustment process of the sales comparison approach, the value of a property component is measured by what the market says is its optimum market value. Number 4, change, states that value is never constant because physical, environmental, economic, governmental, and social forces are at work to change the property and its environment. When these forces are in balance, the market achieves a temporary state of rest called equilibrium. D, advantages and disadvantages of the sales comparison approach. Number 1, the advantages. Fundamental strength is that it reflects the actions of the marketplace and what buyers and sellers are actually doing and paying. B, widely used to appraise single-family residences, vacant land, multifamily, and commercial. It is most applicable when sufficient sales data is available for similar properties. C is applicable to all it is applicable to all types of real property interests. D, when data is available, this approach is most straightforward and simple. This is the most straightforward and simple way to explain and support a value opinion. Usually, it provides the primary indication of market value in appraisals of properties not usually purchased for their income-producing characteristics. Number 2, disadvantages. When the market is limited and a few market transactions are available, the applicability of the sales comparison approach is not reliable. B, it cannot usually be applied to value special purpose or unique properties where sales data is limited or not available. E, the formula for the sales comparison approach. MV, where the MV is equal to market value by the sales comparison approach, is equal to SC, the sale price of the comparable properties, plus divided by or less than the ADJC.
Plus or minus.
Oh, that they shouldn't have put that little.
Yeah, plus or minus.
Anyways, okay, so
read it again.
I will.
Okay.
It's the SC plus or minus the ADJC, the contributory value of the adjustments for the comparable. So your formula looks like this: MV equals SC plus or minus the ADJC, and it is read: market value by the sales comparison approach equals the sales price of the comparable properties plus or minus the contributory value of the adjustments for the comparable.
Like a swimming pool. Contributory value.
Oh, here's some more to the ADJC on the next page. It's the contributory value of the adjustments for the comparable properties, either plus or minus adjusting the comparable to the subject property. They really should work on those. So, F, analysis of subject property. Number 1, the elements of comparison for improvements, such as non-realty components, rights conveyed, financing, conditions of sale, expenditures made immediately following the purchase, market conditions, location, physical characteristics, economic characteristics. G, collection and analysis of sales data. 1, recent sales, cost and income information on individual properties. Number 2, examine whether comparable sales reflect a market value transaction. Buyer and seller are typically motivated. Both parties are well informed and acting in what they consider their best interests, and a reasonable time allowed for exposure in the open market. Payment is more in terms of cash or in terms of financial arrangements comparable thereto. The price represents the normal consideration for the property sold without special or creative financing or sales concessions granted. Specific information about each comparable sale, actual sales price, type of deed, date of contract was signed and date the deed was recorded, personal property included in the sale, type of financing in the contract. Number 4, adjustments are always applied to the sold comparable property and not to the subject property. H, data sources. Appraisal district sales files are a common source, public record of deeds and contracts, newspapers, magazines, and professional journals, multiple listing services and or classified ads, local brokers, appraisers, attorneys, and bankers. And data verification. Confirmation from buyer and seller of terms and conditions of the sale, often difficult for the appraiser to acquire verification. Units of comparison, dwelling unit, square foot or cubic foot of building, room or bedroom, gross income multiplier. And we're going to work through this problem, I guess. We're going to read through it anyway. So here is data on apartment buildings. Sale number 1 had a building area square feet 36,000. There are 60 units. There's 210 rooms with a gross income of $302,400 with a sale price of $2,040,000.
And then go down to the next one, units of comparison, and read the number 1.
You don't want me to finish reading that one? Okay.
Because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're just reading it. But just you read the number 1 on that one. Now read the number 1 on the unit.
Okay. So unit of comparison for sale number 1, the square foot is $56.67. Apartment unit is $34,000, and room is $9,714. Your GIM is 6.75. And then what am I doing?
Reading the next page.
Oh, going down to K?
Yeah.
Okay. K, the elements of comparison. The comparison process need a sufficient number of cells, identify similarities and differences in comps, and bracketing the market. Number 2, factors and trends affect comparables and subjects similarly. The pegs. A, physical or environmental. B, economic. C, governmental. And D, social. L, major types of adjustments of comparable sales. 1, financing. If a buyer gets favorable mortgage from seller, must be the first adjustment in the process and adjust to cash equivalency. And number 2, time adjustment, changing market conditions. Note, a rule of thumb guide when determining time adjustments: if the sale occurred on or before the 15th of the month, count that month if it occurred after the 15th. Do not count that month. End of note. Okay. This is under time adjustment, changing market conditions. A, resale of the same property. The formula is: step 1, the current sale minus the prior sale equals the overall dollar amount of change. Step 2, the overall dollar amount of change divided by the prior sale equals the overall percent of change. Step 3, the overall percent of change divided by the number of months between sales provides the average percent of change per month. Example: current sale $176,000. Prior sale 10 months ago equals $160,000. Step 1, 176 less the 160 equals 16,000. Step 2, 16,000 divided by 160,000 equals 0.10 or 10%. Step 3, 0.10 divided by 10 months equals 0.01 or 1% per month. And then, just period. So then B, paired sales analysis. Here's an example. Sale before effective date. The subject property sold 7 months prior to the date of appraisal for $100,000. The market is approaching half of 1% per month. Monthly percentage change X number of months. Monthly percentage change times number of months equals the change factor. So 0.005 times 7 equals 0.035. Change factor plus 1 multiplied by the sale price equals the time adjusted sale price. So 1.035 times $100,000 equals $103,500. Sale after effective date. Here's your example. The subject property sold 7 months after the date of appraisal for $100,000. The market is approaching 0.5% of 1% per month. Monthly percentage change times number of months equals change factor. So 0.005 times 7 equals 0.035. Sale price times 1 minus the change factor equals the adjusted sale price. So 100,000 times 9.65 equals $96,500. If property values are declining, the above procedures do not change. The only difference is a negative number for the rate of change. If property values are declining and the date of the sale is after the date of the appraisal, the rate of change will be positive. Work this example. So your example, values in the market are declining at a rate of 1.5% per month. A $75,000 sale took place 3 months after the date of appraisal. What is the sale price for time? The answer is B, $78,375. You're going to have to work it on your own, I think.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Number 3, location adjustment. Use paired cells that are equal in all characteristics except they have different locations. Make sure the sale prices are adjusted for time. Since the only difference in selling prices of the comparables is for location, you have a location adjustment amount. Number 4, physical condition adjustment. Calculate the indicated percent of depreciation from the following sale. The sale price is $65,000. The RCN of the building is $75,000. The land value is $5,000. The solution: sales price $65,000 less the land value is equal to RCNLD of the building, $60,000. RCNLD divided by the RCN is $60,000 divided by $75,000 is equal to 0.80 or 80% good. Percent depreciation is 1.00 less the 0.80, which is equal to 0.20 or 20%. So RCN less the RCNLD equals your depreciation. 75,000 less the 60,000 equals 15,000 depreciation. So your percent of depreciation is 15,000 divided by 75,000, which is equal to 0.20 or 20%. Example using paired sales analysis to calculate contributory values. Given the following current sales of similar sized homes, calculate contributory values for the following characteristics: condition, pool, garage, porch, and location. So there's a chart, there's a number of sales, there's 2 different neighborhoods suggested, A or B. They are all of comparable size between 1,500 square feet and 1,510 square feet. Condition is average or good. The detail is whether they have a pool, none, a garage, or a porch, and their sale price from $100,000 upwards of $117,500. The solution is for sales 1 and 5, the condition, I really don't know how to read that. Do you want me to read down? So
what page are you on? 42 or
44?
44?
Oh wait, 43.
Oh. Yeah, you read down.
So, but the condition, what's the condition there? Just 1 and 5? Because they're split out.
Well, they're
So the solution, based upon condition, you're going to look at sales for properties 1 and 5.
You're looking at the difference in the sales prices for those 2.
Okay.
To get your condition value adjustment value.
So, but the 117,500 is not a condition value, is it?
No, that's the sales price.
Right, that's the sales price. So you take the 117,500 less the sales price for number 5, which is 112,500, and that is equal to 5,000.
Yes, that $117,500 one is in good condition. The other one is in average condition.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so for the if it has a pool, you're going to look at sales 3 and 5.
For the value adjustment for a pool.
Pause it. I think I told Jordan was eating.
Okay, go.
To find the value for the pool, you compare the sales from comparables 3 and 5. You take the $117,500 value and sale price and subtract the $110,000 to get $75,000 value for the pool. $7,500 for the pool value. The garage value, you're going to take comparable 4 and 6. Subtract the $103,000 sale price from the $100,000 to end up with a value for the garage of $3,000. For the porch, you're going to take comparable 3 and 7. You're going to take the sale price of $111,750. Subtract the $110,000 for a value for the porch of $1,750. For location, you're going to take comparable of 1 and 2. You're going to take the sale price of $112,500 less the sale price of $107,500 for a value for location of $5,000. Okay. 4 ways to adjust comparable sales. Number 1, lump sum dollar amounts. Adjusting comparable sales by a constant dollar amount. This is not filled out, this chart. Is there another chart? Is there 2 of them?
No. They're going to want you to fill it out.
Well, there is another chart that is filled out.
It is filled out? Okay, so you can go down there.
I think so. But there's stuff in there. There's verbiage in between that needs to be read.
Yes, it does.
It needs to be written. So, here's an example comparison grid with information on specific properties. We're looking for, we've got to fill in sale price, date of sale, number of adjustments, net adjustments, and indicated value across the board. So, comparable number 1 has a sale price of $6,500. The date of sale is current. It's in neighborhood A. Underground utilities, no. Street location, it's inner. Comparable number 2, sale price is $7,200. Date of sale is current. Neighborhood is B. Underground utilities, yes. Street location, corner. Comparable number 3, sale price $6,700. Date of sale is current. Neighborhood is A. Underground utilities, no. Street location is corner. Comparable number 4, sale price $6,900. Date of sale is current. Neighborhood is B. Underground utilities is no. Street location is inner. Adjustments. Calculate adjustments based on the comparable sales for neighborhood A compared to B. Neighborhood B is $400 better than A. Take comparable number 4. Sale price and comparable number 1 sale price and subtract them. So $6,900 less $6,500 equals $400.
And you get your neighborhood adjustment from, that's how much it is. That's how much your neighborhood adjustment is. It's $400. So you could use that $400 adjustment on any one of those properties. You'll either be subtracting it or adding it. It looks like neighborhood B is better than A. The subject has neighborhood B, so it's better than all the A's. So you can add 400 to each A in that comp sale.
Okay, well, if you'll just hold on tight, Mouseketeers, we're going to get to it.
Okay.
For underground utilities, yes compared to no. Underground utilities, yes, is $100 better than a no. Comparable number 2, sale price $7,200, less the comparable number 3, sale price of $7,100. These are adjusted for neighborhood first. So the original sale price was $6,700 plus the $400 equals $100. For underground utilities. For street location, corner compared to inner. Corner is $200 better than the inner. Take the sale price of a comparable number 3, $6,700, less the comparable for number 1, $6,500 equals $200. So our adjustment grid now looks like this. Comparable number 1, $6,500, date of sale current. Neighborhood A, it gets a plus $400 for the neighborhood. Underground utilities, no, it gets a plus $100. Street location, inner, gets a plus $200. Number of adjustments, 3. The net adjustments is a plus $700. So the indicated value of comparable number 1 is $7,200. Comparable number 2, sale price is $7,200. Date of sale current. It's neighborhood B, so there's no adjustment there. Underground utilities, yes, there's no adjustment there. Street location is corner, there's no adjustment. Number of adjustments is 0. Net adjustment is 0. Indicated value is $7,200.
The reason there's no adjustments at all, because it's exactly like the subject.
Yes, that is correct. Comparable number 3, sale price is $6,700. Date of sale is current. It is in neighborhood A, so it gets a plus $400. Underground utilities is no, it gets a plus $100. So street location is corner 0. Number of adjustments 2. Net adjustments is $500. Indicated value becomes $7,200. For comparable number 4, sale price is $6,900. Date of sale is current. Neighborhood is B. There is no adjustment there. Underground utilities is no. It gets a plus $100. Street location, it's inner. It gets a plus $200. Number of adjustments is 2. Net adjustments is $300. So an indicated value of $7,200. Number 2. Cumulative percentage. Adjust for financing first, then adjust for time, then adjust for location and physical characteristic differences. Cumulative percentage adjustment grid. Market analysis of current sales indicates the following adjustments. Condition. Good is 10% better than average. Neighborhood B is 10% better than A. Size. Every 100 square feet of difference is worth 5%. Garage. An attached garage is 2% more than detached garage. We have a similar chart from previous problem. Sale date for comparable number 1 sale is current. Sale price $238,100. Location is A, neighborhood A. There is no adjustment there. Size is 1900. It gets a minus 5% adjustment. Garage, it is attached. There's no adjustment. For condition, it's average. It gets plus 10%. Number of adjustments, 2. Net adjustments, plus 5%. Indicated value, $250,000. For comparable number 2, its sale date is current. The sale price is $196,850. Its location is in neighborhood A. It receives no adjustment. For the size, it's got 1,500 square feet. It gets plus 15%. Garage is detached. It gets a plus 2%. Condition is average. It gets a plus 10%. The number of adjustments is 3. The net adjustments is plus 27%. Indicated value is $250,000. Comparable number 3. Sale date is current. Sale price is $245,100. Location, neighborhood A, it gets a 0 adjustment. Size, 1,800 square feet, there's no adjustment there. Garage is detached, it gets plus 2%. Condition is good, it gets 0 adjustment. Number of adjustments is 1. Net adjustments is 2% positive, and an indicated value then becomes $250,000. For comparable number 4, sale date is current. Sale price is $304,875. Location is neighborhood B. It gets a minus 10% adjustment. The size is 2,200 square feet. It gets a minus 20% adjustment. The garage is detached. It gets plus 2%. The condition is average. It gets plus 10%. Number of adjustments is 4. The net adjustments is minus 18%. So the indicated value is $250,000.
Okay, so all these adjustments are on percentage. So this is the cumulative percentage grid. Okay. So then you take your total percentage and multiply it by the sale price of the comp, and then subtract that amount from the sale price. Okay.
The indicated value of the subject is estimated at $250,000 rounded, based on comparable number 3 being the most comparable adjusted sold property. Number 3, multiplicative percentage. Time adjustment is an example of this type of adjustment. Number 4, hybrid adjustment. Hybrid requires use of 2 or more of the above adjustment methods. N, gross income rent multiplier. Number 1.
Gross income or gross rent. They're 2 different multipliers.
Okay, gross income rent multiplier. Number 1, gross income multiplier, the GIM, used primarily for commercial and or multi-family properties. It's calculating a GIM using a comparable sold property. Its sale price is divided by annual gross income equals the GIM. For calculating market values, estimating the GIM, subject's gross income times GIM is equal to value. Note.
Oh, there's a note on that page.
Gross income includes gross rent plus secondary income. End note. Example of GIM. The subject apartment complex contains 30 units that rent for $300 per month each. The complex generates $350 additional income total each month from secondary uses. The expense ratio based on current operation is 30%. A comparable 35-unit complex recently sold for $1,041,600. Each unit rents for $300 per month, and the comparable generates $350 total in additional income. This property is operated comparably to the subject. What is the subject's estimate of value using the GIM method? Subject for annual income. The PGR is $300 rent times 30 units times 12 months because it must be annualized equals $108,000. Secondary income is $350 times 12 months because it must be annualized is equal to $4,200. So your subject annual income is $108,000 plus $4,200 equals $112,200. Your comparable PGR is the 300 times 35 units times 12 months because it must be annualized. It's $126,000. Secondary income is $350 times 12 months, $4,200. The comparable annual gross income then is $126,000 plus $4,200 equals $130,200. So the GIM is $1,041,600 divided by $130,200 equals 8.00 GIM. The value, $112,200 times the 8.00 GIM, is equal to $897,600.
Number 2.
Gross rent multiplier, GRM, used primarily for single-family residential properties. Calculating a monthly GRM using a comparable sold property. Sale price divided by monthly gross rent equals GRM monthly. Calculating market value estimate using the monthly GRM. Subject's monthly gross rent times GRM monthly equals value. Calculating an annual GRM using a comparable sold property. Sales price divided by annual gross rent equals GRM annual. Calculating market value estimate using the annual GRM. The subject's annual gross rent times GRM annual equals value. Example of GRM. An apartment complex recently sold for $405,000. It contains 15 two-bedroom units that rent for $450 per month. What is the annual gross rent multiplier? 405,000 divided by 81,000 equals a 5.00 GRM annual. So I bet they took the 450 per month, multiplied that by 15, got an amount, and then multiplied that by 12. And it says the subject property is an apartment complex that contains 12 two-bedroom units that rent for $450 per month.
That's exactly
what is the estimate of property value using the GRM method? 450 times 12 units times 12 months equals 64,800 times the 5.00 GRM equals 324,000.
Good guess.
So an example of the gross rent multiplier for detached single-family rental houses. Sale price $66,500. Monthly rent $500 for two-bedroom. Multiplier 133. Sale price $49,600. Monthly rent $375 for one bedroom equals a multiplier of 132. Sale price is $78,600. Monthly rent $600 for a four-bedroom equals a multiplier of 131. Sale price of $52,800. Monthly rent of $400 for one bedroom equals a multiplier of 132. So monthly rent of subject one bedroom equals $450. GRM monthly of comparables equals times 132. So the indicated value of the subject is $59,400. Okay, number 3. The GIM or GRM method requires sufficient market data to use the method correctly. The subject property and the comparable sales must have the same HBU. Reconciliation. Number 1, value estimates reconciled into one indicator of value. Number 2, identify most reliable comparable sales, a sale with the fewest number of adjustments. And number 3, no averaging. And P, alternative market approach methods used value special circumstance properties. Number 1, anticipated use or development method enables the appraiser to estimate the value of undeveloped land being considered for development. Use of this method requires that the appraiser to have evidence to support that the subject property will be developed in the future. As an example, this method would be used when an acreage tract is scheduled for development into a residential subdivision. A plat has been filed, but development has not started as of the appraisal date. This method requires that there are not sufficient sales of comparable undeveloped land to use the sales comparison approach. 4 steps in the land development method. A, analyze the local market to determine the most profitable way to develop the land. B, look at the comparable sales of recently developed land to estimate the gross sales price after the subject land is developed. C, estimate expenses to develop the property as of the appraisal date. Deduct the expenses to estimate the current value of the undeveloped raw land. D. Discount the current raw land value over the time necessary to develop and sell it. Number 2. Stock and debt method, also known as debt equity method, provides an alternative market approach to the valuation of utility properties, railroads and public utilities in particular, which seldom sell in their entirety so infrequently that it is nearly impossible to derive a value indication using the comparable sales approach. Instead of looking for sales of whole properties, an appraiser using the stock and debt approach looks to the sale of the company's stocks and bonds and at the indicated value of current assets and liabilities on the company's financial statement or balance sheet. The formula is market value is equal to value of capital plus liabilities, which is assets, the current value plus the current and deferred expenses. Steps in the stock and debt to equity method. The appraiser values the common stock by multiplying the number of shares of stocks outstanding times the current market value per share. Published sources such as Standard & Poor's Stock Guide will list average market value per share. In a like manner, the appraiser values any preferred stock. The appraiser then values the company's bonds, again using market information from published sources. Next, the appraisers determine the current value of capital by adding the current stock value plus the current value of bonds, plus retained earnings as reported on the company's balance sheet. The appraiser then determines the current value of the equities, total value of capital, plus the value of current and deferred liabilities. The market value of the utilities assets is the calculated total current value of the equities. The Appraisal Economics Incorporated, the International Association of Assessing Officers, IAAO, and the American Society of Appraisers, the ASA, offers a more detailed explanation of the stock and debt method, debt to equity method. End of section.